English. um, so before we went on the missions trip, I actually didn't want to go. When Albie was talking about prepping for this year's missions trip, I actually didn't really feel like I needed to go, and I didn't feel like I really wanted to go because I got a new job I got my first job as an art teacher, and I was so consumed with my work and so consumed with schoolwork that I kind of lost a little bit of like faith in God, because I was just really focused on like getting my work done and like getting my schoolwork done, that I didn't even have time to come to church on Friday nights. And the less time I spent at church, the less I felt close to God. But I still kept feeling God's nudge. He kept nudging me to come back to church, and so when Albie asked us to do the essay, I decided to write down my whole entire kind of like testimony to him. Yeah, and so this year when we arrived in Darling, it was very interesting because everything felt like, it was like, oh, it's normal. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, we're back. It just felt like, okay, cool, let's arrive. We're arrived, and let's just put our luggages up to the 4th floor. And it was like, it felt really weird, but it was normal to me. Everything was super, super routine. And it kind of felt like we never really even left Darling. It just kind of felt like we went home for one day, and then the next day we're back at Darling. This year I faced a lot of challenges the first week because I had a super clogged throat, and I was trying to yell over the kids, but luckily I had a really loud translator to help me. And yeah, God just threw a lot of challenges at me this year, like meeting the new churches. I'm a very shy person, and I sometimes deal a little bit with social anxiety, but God pushed me to meet new people. And there was this one girl from Silicon Valley. Her name was Bridget, and we just clicked. There was this one time during lunch where we just kept talking and talking, and we talked till it was time for class. So it was really nice to just get to meet a lot of different people and get to know their backgrounds. And I felt God was just like constantly nudging me the entire time, but I didn't know why. So just like Esther, this year our curriculum was kind of harder to teach because it wasn't very complete. So I was really stressed out about that because when we arrived at Darling, I was looking through our materials and I was like, oh no, they ordered it wrong. But I was like, it's okay. Like, I'm just going to ask people for help. And we had a little like station leaders meeting, and I got a lot of help from all the other station leaders and also Pastor Albie. And that kind of taught me that you don't always need to rely on yourself to have a great outcome. Like I learned that you have to rely on others and always rely on God. There was this one time we had to, I think it was Wednesday night or Tuesday night, we were prepping like a little mini showcase to bring to the nursing homes in Darling. And we had to learn Taiwanese, and my Taiwanese is terrible, and so is my Mandarin. That's why I'm speaking in English. But yeah, my Taiwanese is terrible, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I really want to be able to make the seniors happy. So I think we practiced till 10, and then next morning I was super tired, but I was like, okay, let's finish VBS. And we went to the nursing home. And at the nursing home, I was singing. It was really weird because, I was. We were just all singing, and there was this moment where, it was, I heard everybody sing, but it was, quiet time between me and God. And I felt God's presence there, and it was, it was him calling to me to be a missionary. He said these exact words to me. He said, this is what you're going to do. And that time I was looking at the seniors, and I was just like, you're right, this is what I want to do. It just felt so right to be there and to be with the team. And it felt like, this is what I'm going to do. But obviously, as someone who constantly questions herself, I was just still kind of like, okay, God, just give me a few more days, and then I will answer your call. But it really made the whole, weirdness that I felt at the beginning of dialing normal. So when we arrived in Ugu, just being there with the kids, although I was super sick when we arrived in Ugu, just being there with the kids just helped me kind of heal, and also it really solidified what God's calling to me was. And I had this one night where I was at my host mama's house, and then I just kind of prayed a lot in my room. And it wasn't like I said, okay, God, I accept your calling. It was more like God just went into my heart, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm really excited for what's to come. There's still many things that I have to figure out, but I know that this is what I want to do. I really want to be a missionary in the future. And this whole missions trip has helped me realize how much I want to be able to have God use me as a soldier and to go out and touch the lives of many different people and be able to bring them to God's kingdom and God's love. So I learned a lot about myself on this trip, and I learned that I can overcome my shyness. It's not something that's going to be with me forever, and it helped me gain some self-confidence, and also just brought me back to God. So I think it was a very successful missions trip this year. Thank you.